Hello all, welcome to Diligent Learner channel. Please subscribe this channel to know such more insights on various topics. In our last lecture, we have seen how Jainism and Buddhism emerged by the end of the Vedic period. This was on the cultural lines. However, we also need to study how small kingdoms emerged and what was the political situation at this time. In this lecture, we will study about the emergence of small kingdoms, how they got combined, annexed, or amalgamated and formed or transitioned into the powerful kingdoms. So from here, I'll be giving a basic reference what we have studied in our last lecture, the Vedic period, where we have seen that the basic unit was Kula or the family, and several families joined to form a village, right? Group of villages were the Vishu, and Jana or tribe was the political unit. By the end of the Vedic period, tribes started combining to form the Janapadas. Now, combining in the sense that each tribe was growing at that point of time, occupying a larger geographical space, and they formed relations with other tribes also. And these Janapadas only later became those kingdoms. Now, if we look at the some of the literature of that time, particularly Anguttara Nikaya, which was a Buddhist literature, there was a reference of 16 Mahajanapadas at that point of time. Now, weaker kingdoms got merged or annexed by the powerful kingdoms, and by the mid of 6th century BC, only 4 kingdoms survived: Vatsa, Avanti, Kosla, and Magadh. But before looking into these 4 kingdoms in details, let's study about those 16 Mahajanapadas. So first, let's check out the geographical location of some of the Mahajanapadas in this map, and this will basically help us to quickly remember their geographical location for our future study purpose. So on the down west side, we have Ang region or the Mahajanapada. We have Magadh. Magadh is around the present day of Bihar. We have Kasi, Kosal. We have Kuru. Kuru is near Delhi NCR region currently, Haryana region, right? Then we have Panchal. Panchal is particularly the western Uttar Pradesh, or specifically the Ruhelkhand region of Uttar Pradesh. We have Matas, then Avanti, then Asmaka, and if you look on the northwestern side, we have Gandhara, and Gandhara, then Cambodia is also near to it. So this is the geographical location, approximate geographical location of those 16 Mahajanapadas, right? And if you want, you can look the list of those 16 Mahajanapadas also, and this is one of the important questions sometimes came in some of the examinations. So in the list we have Ang, Magadh, Kashi, Kosal, Vajji, Malla, Chedi, Vatsa, Kuru, Panchal, Matsya, Sursena, Asmaka, Avanti, Gandhar, and Kamboj. So this is the list of all those 16 Mahajanapadas. Now coming back to 4 major kingdoms which survived by the mid of the 6th century BC. The first one is Vatsa, which was situated on the banks of river Yamuna with its capital at Kaushambi. Now Vatsa was formed by a branch of Kuru dynasty basically, right? Kuru dynasty in the sense, so Kurus were there in the Hastinapur or in that region near Delhi NCR, just now I have told, right? But it is believed, and some of the texts refer that there was a flood in Hastinapur region, and the Kuru king Nikaku, let me write down the name here, Kuru king Nikaku. I mean the spellings might be different in different books if you refer, but name was this. The Kuru king Nikaku relocated his capital along with all his subjects to a newly constructed capital known as Kaushambi, which is in Uttar Pradesh, right? So after that period of time, the Kuru dynasty was split between Kurus and Vatsas, and this was during the post-Vedic period when Aryavarta was made up of these Mahajanapadas, right? Now, if you look at the rulers, Udyan was the most popular ruler, but there is a bit of history associated with it, and there is some definite information and some information we are just referencing out of that. I mean, basically, historians are referencing out of that. So, Atnaka II, let me note down this name. Atnaka II was the first ruler. It is believed he was the first ruler of the Bharat dynasty of Vats, about whom we have some definite information. Okay, not full information, but some definite information. Puran says his father was Vasudna, right? His father was Vasudna, it is as per Purans, but there is another text, Bhasha, which says his father was Sahaskarna. So let me write down his name also, Sahasraka. Right, so we don't have definite information. But when Atnaka died, Udyana was still a minor. So if we refer to Jain canonical text, Udyan was still the minor at the time of his death, and the responsibility of governing the kingdom fell on the shoulders of the Queen Migvat. So who tackled Queen Migvat, basically looking on the administration part, right? Bhasas Pratyuja Gandharya, this is another text, right, that claims that she took the full charge of the administration, and later on Udyana was imprisoned by the king Pradyota of Avanti. But overall, from the different text or from the different religious texts also, we found out, historians found out, that Udyana was the most popular ruler at that time or of this region, right? Vatsa had matrimonial alliances with Avanti, Ang and Magadh, and later on this was annexed by Avanti kingdom. Now, Avanti in the territory is located in the present day Madhya Pradesh and was one of the most powerful kingdom of ancient India. Ujjain was its capital. Pradyota was the most popular king at that time. He married to Vasavdata, she was the daughter of the Udyana, and he patronized Buddhism. The Maurya emperor Chandragupta Maurya included Avanti in his kingdom. Now we have the Kosal kingdom also, who has its origin in the Audh region. Audh region is in the southern Uttar Pradesh. Ayodhya was its capital. Prasenjit was the most famous ruler. This state has matrimonial alliance with Magadh. Prasenjit's sister, whose name was Kosala Devi, she was married to Bimbisara. It is believed that Ajatashatru killed his brother-in-law. After the death of this powerful king, Prasenjit death, Kosala became part of Magadh. The Magadh was the most powerful state and the central nerve of political activity. Its capital was at Rajgriha. The Magadh Empire was rich in natural resources, especially iron. It is also endowed with fertile soil, as different rivers were there, like Ganga, whose water was used to irrigate their land. So the state has a good agricultural condition also, and hence the revenue generation for the state. It was one of the most important center of education also at that point of time, right? So what we have seen, that first Vatsa kingdom got annexed by Avanti, right? Now Avanti got annexed by Magadh, right? And then we have Kosala, who was also got annexed by Magadh, and that is how Magadh emerged as the most powerful kingdom at that point of time, right? So this is how, depending on the geographical location, cultural condition, alliances with other states, powerful kings, and the time conditions, made Magadh emerged as the most powerful kingdom. Now moving ahead, we'll be looking at some of the famous rulers of that time, particularly the rulers on the Magadh Empire, right? Magadh Empire is basically ruled by different dynasties and the able kings. So the first one, we are starting with Bimbisara, whose reign was from 546 BC to 494 BC. He belonged to Haryanka dynasty. He is also known as Shreniya. So Bimbisara, let me write down, he is also known as Shreniya because he was the first king to have a standing army. He expanded the Magadh Empire by the means of conquest and diplomacy. He is known to have used matrimonial alliances to increase the Magadh's power. He married to Mahakosala Devi, daughter of Kosala king and the sister of Prasenjit, and got Kashi village in dowry. He also married to Chelna, who was the daughter of the Lichhaivi tribal head, and strengthened his alliance. He fathered a son, Ajatashatru, with Chelna, who became the next king after Bimbisara. He also married to Khema of the royal house of Madra in central Punjab, and Bimbisara was contemporary to both Vardhaman Mahavir and Gautam Buddha. The next king of Magadh was Ajatashatru, whose reign was 494 BC to 462 BC. He, unlike his father, who was using diplomacy and matrimonial alliances to increase the political power of his kingdom, against that he uses Ajatashatru used aggressive policies, right? So battle of against Lichavis of Vaishali lasted for 16 years, and it was at that time that Ajatashatru realized the strategic importance of the Patliputra. Now Udyan was his successor, and he founded Patliputra at the confluence of Ganga and Son. Now sculptures of Barhut depict that he met Gautam Buddha during his lifetime. And after Ajatashatru, later rulers were weak, and then the territory was occupied by Shishunagar dynasty. So if you look how the dynasty transitioned basically from Haryanka dynasty, now we are getting Shishunagar dynasty. Now, when Shishunagar dynasty, if you look at the rulers, the post Ajatashatru, the later rulers, Shishunagar dynasty captured Magadh. They defeated the king of Avanti also, and it is believed that Buddhist council was conveyed when Shishunagar dynasty was ruling in Magadh region. After Shishunagar, the empire began to collapse. Kakvaram or Kalasoka was the successor who was killed by the founder of Nanda dynasty. So we have Haryanka dynasty, then Shishunagar dynasty, and now the Nanda dynasty. Nand were the first non-Kshatriya rulers of India. They maintained huge armies with the help of an oppressive taxation system. Mahapadma Nand was the most powerful ruler of Nanda dynasty. He uprooted the Kshatriya dynasty and assumed the title of Ekrat. Hathi Gumfa inscription of Khara Vela of Kaling shows that Nanda dynasty also conquered Kaling. Padmanabh Nand ruled for 10 years. He had 8 sons. The last son and the ruler was Dhananand. And Chandragupta Maurya and Kautilya, they initiated a popular movement against Nand rule, and they uprooted Dhananand. At the same time, we also need to look at the different Persian invasions which were happening at the northwestern side of India, right? So this was happening on the northwestern side of India. Cyrus was the Achaemenian Empire. Cyrus was the king of the Achaemenian Empire, and this empire was in the ancient Iran. He captured at the Gandhar region. So at that time, if you look on the northwestern side of India, there were many small provinces like Gandhar, Kamboj, and Madra, and they were constantly fighting with each other. Because of this constant fighting, they were weak, and because of that, Cyrus was able to capture the Gandhar region. Punjab and Sindh was annexed by Darius I, who was Cyrus' grandson. It is believed that he sent a naval expedition under Skyless to explore the Indus River. Xerxes deployed Indian infantry and cavalry to Greece to fight his opponents and faced defeat there. Darius III enlisted Indian soldiers to fight against Alexander in 330 BC also. So because of this, or if you look, the other aspect of Persian invasion was the increase of the trade and commerce between India and Iran at that time. There were cultural effects of these invasions in the northwestern part. The use of Kharoshti script, a form of Iranian writing, which is became popular in northwestern India, and this Kharoshti script is basically written from right to left, right? If you look at some of the Ashoka's edit were also written in this language. So if you look at the influence of the art and architecture, monolithic pillar edicts of Ashoka with their bell-shaped capitals are somewhat like the victory pillars of the Achaemenian emperors, which have been found in Persepolis, Iran. Persian infusion found in Chandragupta Maurya's court also, and was in the form of ceremonial hair bath taken by the emperor on his birthday, which was in typical Persian style. By Arth Shastra also, whenever the king consults the physician or the ascetic, he should sit in a room where the sacred fire was kept. This indicates the influence of Zoroastrianism, the religion of ancient Iranis. Now, looking at the invasion of Alexander. Alexander was from Macedonia. He ascended the throne in 334 BC after his father Philip's death. Writings of Herodotus about India's wealth basically attracted him, and then he thought about invading India. He defeated Darius III in the Battle of Arbela in 330 BC. The ruler of Takshila basically greeted Alexander. He sent the message to Porus. So Alexander sent a message to Porus to surrender, but Porus refused, and then they fought a battle uh, on the plains of Khari, which is near Jhelum River. This battle is known as Battle of Hydaspes in history. Around 326 BC, a retreat of Alexander began. Basically, he started retreating back to Greece. Right, he was not able to progress further in the northern plains. It is believed because of the heat at the time when he invaded, and history indicates that around 326 BC he started retreating back to Greece. And while he was on the way to Babylon in 323 BC, he died. So that is about the history of Alexander invasion on India. And in this lecture, we have basically studied how Magadh has grown and became a powerful kingdom, what was happening over the period of time on the political space on the northern India, and how Persians were invading, and how Alexander came to invaded India, and how he retreated back also. If you like, so that's it for this video. If you like this video, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.